Hey, cinema aficionados, Dan Patton, Screen Magazine, thank you for checking in. Today, I am speaking with actor Phil Donlon, who portrays Lieutenant Stephen Vale on Chicago Fire. His character recently emerged as perhaps the most consequential villain on the show. Phil, thanks for joining us. How are you today?
Oh, doing good. I'm in Biloxi, Mississippi,
That's
hosting an event. We can get into that later, but it's like 1,000 degrees.
Your character basically climaxes the season finale in a scene that kind of has everyone hanging in suspense. Can you real quickly describe for us that scene?
Yeah, so basically, what's revealed in the last episode is that I set up Dermot's character, Chief Pascal. He suspects it. Severide suspects it.
You say
Severide go
suspects it. Now what is it?
it.
Oh,
Well,
spoiler alert, everybody.
yeah.
This is
Well,
kind of a
they
spoiler alert.
Yeah, she suspects that the guy who killed Pascal's wife gets in a car accident, and they see there's a center punch tool in the gas line, uh, and he goes into the hot. His car crashes, catches on fire. The guy's on life support in the hospital, um, and they find a CFD center punch tool that's left behind. And the only other guy who was like after this individual was Dermot's character, Chief Pascal. So I basically do a frame job on him. So
Maybe you do a frame job. You're saying you did
that's
it, huh?
correct. That I cannot say. I'm pleading the fifth, Dan. Uh, so basically, what Dermot does is he's sitting, or Chief Pascal is at his house. He opens his wife's phone for the first time since her death, and he sees a litany of like text messages from me to her. Basically, I'm telling her I'm in love with her, and to leave him and be with me and all this other stuff. And then Severide sort of figures it out, and he goes to IA, Internal Affairs, and he gets them. So he's sort of en route with the cops while Dermot's knocking on my door. And then that's where the scene takes place. And he basically comes in the house and the jig is up. And he calls me on it. He shows me the text messages. And I'm like, yeah, what? So I was totally in love with your wife. And then, he says, hey, you can't hang this on me. And I basically tell him I did what he didn't have the guts to do.
You're basically slapped in handcuffs and hauled off in a police car. And the
Correct.
last thing that people see of the season, when did you find out you're going to be performing that scene? And then how did you prepare for it? And how did you end up playing it?
So that was episode 22. They didn't tell me until after episode 17. Because episode 17, I go into Chief Pascal's office and I'm like crying and torn up, and I'm basically offering condolences for his wife's death. So they didn't want to tell me because they felt it would have affected. They wanted that performance to be super genuine because obviously it turns out I'm just covering my tracks.
Excellent. And how far ahead of time did you know that you were going to be, basically accused of murder and hauled away in handcuffs? How many days did you have to prepare to perform that scene?
I got like the script. I think I got the script on a Wednesday. Was on a plane, crack a dawn Thursday, shot it Friday. So I had like a day, like a day because you're tired and stuff, and you're checking into the hotel, and you got to go for wardrobe fittings and all this other stuff. So I mean, I didn't have a ton of time with it, but I will say this: with that season finale, they I think put extra days on the schedule because they did go over. So they really wanted to get it right. Like that scene that we did at the end, like I mean, we were there till like 4 in the morning. I mean, we were taking our time. We did it like 30 ways to Sunday. Even just my walk out of the house in handcuffs, you're like, okay, now do it laughing. Now do it like you're surprised. Now, do it, like you're losing everything and you're breaking down. I mean, I think they just kind of wanted to have all the options in the editing room. They did me right. I was very proud of. I mean, they shot me like tight,
Yeah.
and the way I was playing it was I wasn't letting Dermot leave my house alive. So I was kind of putting in that sort of sociopathic edge to it. So I was happy. I didn't know they were coming in this close. So like I saw it and it was like, oh my God. Wow. Okay. Glad I didn't move around a lot.
Now, you previously described Lieutenant Stephen Vale as a guy who's kind of rough around the edges. Did you think he was capable of murder?
With doing shows like this, you're sort of like building the plane as you're flying it, and I'm getting my script a day or two in advance, you know. So it's like, they kind of bang along. And it's not like Dermot had any secret info either, more than I did. So it was interesting. So it was kind of like, I'm really proud of the arc of the character in that season. It's a really nice, beautiful arc, but I wasn't privy to that information. So it's sort of like, as I'm walking in Vale's shoes and creating this character, and then I started to notice, like, the writers would even be like, do whatever you want, this guy better than we do. And so that was really interesting.
What redeeming qualities does he have? In what ways is Stephen Vale a good guy?
Well, I think Stephen Vale's a loyal guy for sure. I think, to me, there was a little bit of an interesting mix at the end when I do my reveal to him. Like, I took care of this guy. I think when I say, "Hey, I had your back," like, I really, and then he's like, doesn't accept that, and that's when I'm basically like, "You ain't leaving this house, buddy." When the gloves kind of come off. But I think Vale did it as, sort of, it's an odd way to help a friend, but I think he was loyal to him. Like, he was really like, I know you couldn't do this, and someone has to take revenge for, Monica. I mean, and he wanted to do it. Prior episodes, he was stalking this guy's house. He threatened him in public. Like, this was Dermot's character was thinking about it, and he had to be talked out of it by Taylor Kinney's character, and I just took care of it.
Now, you had the punch in the stomach. You also have a scene when you walk into Dom's office and you're crying. I know
Yes.
for an actor, this is kind of dream come true,
What
certain
was
things are really
it,
stretching emotions.
Yeah, because when I was at the wrap party, a lot of the cast members, they're very,
They all
and by
punched
the
you
way,
in the stomach.
nice. And I said, "Hey, go for it. Here, everyone line up, take a shot." Nicest cast, by the way, so welcoming. They were so welcoming to me, and they just, because most of my scenes all season were only with Dermot. I had one with Taylor Kinney, but that was it. And all the cast members said, "We really love your work and what you're doing." I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were like paying attention." So that was like a really wonderful compliment to get
Excellent.
from the rest of the cast, because I my storyline was separate from all the romance, all these storylines that have been going on for years that the fans are like really into. This is a brand new storyline. And you wonder, do the fans care?
Why don't you just tell me everything that happens in season 14 real quick?
Fantastic. It stars Lieutenant Vale. All the other characters have been written out. They're all gone. I mean, what I need is fan letters,
Okay.
old school fan letters, bombarded to the producers. We want Lieutenant Vale.
Yes. How have the people with whom you work every day helped you evolve your technique as an actor?
This set is like everyone's rooting for each other, and that was a really great thing. I mean, again, like I said, I mean, I think the perfect example is at the end, knowing that in the cast pay. Eigenberg told me, he goes, "Hey, he talks like this." So he comes up to me and uh, he goes, "I just want to tell you, I really love your work and what you've done on the show." The season finale hadn't come out yet, though, at the rap party, and he said, "I told my wife I'm so happy you didn't audition for the show 13 years ago, because you would have gotten my part over me." And I was like, "Ah, man, well, that's a nice, compliment." So they were all supportive. You show up to work and everyone's rooting for each other, and that's just such a rare thing. I will say this, though. Okay, this was kind of a cool thing, that I think blew me away. I was having dinner with one of the writers when we got back to LA after we wrapped out the season. And he said, we talk in the writer's room about the sexual chemistry between Dermot and Phil. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. As an actor, like, you understand what that means. It doesn't mean necessarily, it's a sexual thing per se. But it's a power thing. There's like, because that's, I mean, men are that way with each other. Men and women are that way with each other. Uh, there's all sorts of colors of the rainbow that you can play with that. And I thought that was kind of interesting, but he said because there's something going on, like when you two are on screen, there's something happening there that's like we just can't figure out. We talk about it all the time. So I know that they're working on stuff. I don't know exactly what. They don't. I know nothing.
Filming in Chicago, also sort of a homecoming for you, right? I know you're based in LA right now, but
Yeah,
originally you're a Chicago South Sider.
yeah, Bridgeport. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I go back and see my parents. I see my brother, my nieces and nephews. So it's a nice way. I usually stay a little longer, hang out with my family, and so it's been a dream, kind of a dream job. And I got to grow this really cool mustache, Dan.
Tell us where you are right now and what are you doing?
Well, probably lay by the pool, try to enjoy the weather. So that's what I'm doing today. But I'm out here at an event in Biloxi for Wounded Warriors of Mississippi. And there was a big legacy ride that went on today, raising money, selling tickets, and all proceeds go to Wounded Warriors, which is something that I'm super passionate about.
What exactly is Wounded Warriors? What exactly, for those that don't know, is a legacy ride?
Yeah, well, Wounded Warriors is an organization that supports our military veterans with guys who have PTSD, any kind of family services, mental health. Um, and it's a big deal. So there's a national chapter, and then of course you've got these little sub chapters in the different states. It's basically a police escorted ride. Everyone brings their bike out, and they ride. I think I want to say 2 hours along the Gulf Coast. It's a very beautiful ride. So the state troopers are out there making sure nobody gets hurt, and it was great. Former governor of Mississippi, Phil Bryant, was out today.
A big caravan of bikes going down, what, right in the Gulf Coast, you said?
Yeah,
Beautiful.
mainly a lot of Harleys, but there were some other bikes that were in there as well. So,
Can you tell us about your wildfire documentary, Hot Shot?
well, I appreciate you asking about it. We're the number one rated fire movie of all time. It basically follows a crew out of Santa Clarita and them fighting the wildfires. Um, it follows the only female squad leader that's in Southern California, as she works with a whole group of guys. There's no talking heads in it. It plays like a narrative feature film, like a fictional film. It's beautiful.
Any other projects you want to tell us
Yeah,
about?
I got a doc series I executive produced for Amazon Studios, which is coming out about the Long Island serial killer, and that's on the producing side of my life. I mean, he was murdering escorts, chopping up their body parts, burying them along in Long Island Beach for 35 years. So yeah, it was not like the sunniest project to work on. It was pretty heavy, but it'll be really great. Emma Cooper, who's a really fantastic director, directed it. So I'm looking forward to that. That's coming out. I've got another project with Rolling Stone Films that we're taking out, another doc series, and another scripted series. So just hustling, Dan.
Excellent. Well, good luck with everything and congratulations, man. Lieutenant Stephen Vale, also known as the actor Phil Donlon,
Yeah,
joining us today and riding for veterans and in the meantime producing all kinds of stuff. So check it out. This is Dan Patton with Screen Magazine. Thanks for checking everybody. And Phil, thanks for your time.
yes, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.